Arsenal needed a big favour from their North London rivals Tottenham tonight. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Manchester City beating Tottenham by 2 goals to 0 to take full control of the title race. What it means now, if Manchester City beat West Ham on the final day of the season on Sunday, they will be crowned champions of England for the 4th year running. This is your boy Enzo, EMGM SPORTS, with a post-match reaction. Tottenham versus Manchester City. Let's go. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hope everyone's had a good day. Let's look at it. Tottenham taking on Manchester City tonight. Listen, this was always going to be a cagey old game, a funny game. You know, with Tottenham having to, do their big rivals Arsenal a favour, and Tottenham were always they were always between a rock and a hard place. I mean, if they beat Man City, they basically hand the title to Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of the Tottenham fans did not want that. Even during the game, when Manchester City scored, there were some sections of the Tottenham fans in the stadium celebrating the goal. They were happy. They were happy that Manchester City scored because they just don't want Arsenal to win the league. It's unfortunate. I mean, as a fan, you should always want your team to win, but I can understand. The rivalry is deep, man. It's deep rooted, man. You know, there's a lot of hurt there over the years. So I can kind of see where some of the Tottenham fans are coming from. They don't want to do Arsenal any favors. But anyways, let's dissect the game. Let's look into the game. Let's look at what happened here. First half, not much happening. Not much creativity from both teams. They're huffed and puffed. Man City not really playing the free-flowing football that we're used to. Tottenham, just huffing and puffing as well. Second half, Manchester City come out strong. They come out strong, passing the ball around. And Silva finds a nice little cute pass in the pocket to Kevin De Bruyne, who then squares it to the big man, Erling Haaland, who just taps it in. Do you know what I mean? It was poor defending leading up to the goal, with Romero just losing a 50-50 battle with Phil Foden. Normally, Romero is known for his tackling. He's known as this strong guy, do you know what I mean? Strong South American defender who takes no nonsense. But for some reason, he pulled out the tackle. He kind of it was a soft tackle and he let Foden kind of free, and then Foden kind of crossed the ball and he led to the goal. After the goal, Tottenham again, they responded. To be fair to Tottenham, to be fair to the Tottenham players, they stayed professional. They kind of got back into the game, passing the ball around. Do you know what I mean? For the next 20 minutes, it got to be cagey for Man City. Ederson was injured after a tackle from Romero, and he had to come off. He wasn't too happy about that. He was visibly upset, but I can understand why Man City felt they need to take him off, because with the concussion laws and, they just had to make sure that his safety came first, but he wasn't happy about it. Guardiola had a few words with him. Ederson wasn't happy about it, but we can understand. He wants to be part of the game. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't want to come off. Tottenham, after Man City scored, they were passing the ball around. Not much happening, not really creating loads of chances. But, they did have 2 good chances. Kulusevski, he went through on goal. Oh, man. It was close. He nearly went through the keeper's legs, but it was close. But the big chance that Tottenham had was, Akanji makes a mistake, passes the ball back, he gets caught. Son was through on goal. He was through. I'm thinking, I don't support Arsenal, but I'm just looking at it. If you're an Arsenal fan at home, if an opportunity comes up for Tottenham, who do you want that opportunity to fall to? It will be Son. He's so clinical. Son goes through on goal, yeah. He goes through. Man, his body language was all wrong. He took one touch, body language was wrong, and he goes low, and the keeper saves it. To be fair to the keeper, yeah, he didn't go down too early. He stayed up, made himself big, and he made Son kind of make a quick rash decision. With Son, he makes the right decision when it comes to those situations. But what a chance! What a chance! I mean, oh man, I'm just thinking. All the Arsenal fans at home must be thinking when they saw Son go through on goal, they were like, "Yeah, that's it, that's going in." But he missed. He missed that opportunity. That must have been so heartbreaking for the Arsenal fans watching at home. Even the Arsenal team, I'm sure some of the Arsenal players watching the game, when they saw Son go through, they must have thought, this is it. This is it. But unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. And that was the moment. There was always going to be moments in this game where Man City will probably dominate, get a goal, and then there'll be a few moments of nervousness from City. There was always going to be that moment, and Tottenham were always going to create at least one or two chances. They had two chances, Kulusevski and the big chance, Son. He just missed it. That was the chance. I mean, if he scores that goal, completely different game. It's a completely different game. But listen, like I always say, yeah, a team like Manchester City, they're so relentless, yeah. They're so hungry for success, yeah. You can't even give them a chance. Like Arsenal, as much as I've praised them this season, they've played well and they've done well to hang in there. But they're finding out the hard way. They're finding out why Klopp's only won one Premier League in 9 years. Yeah, and that's because of Pep and his team. They are relentless. They are relentless. Pep Guardiola never lets them relax. They never relax. He's a serial winner. He wants to win all the time. And that's the thing with Man City. When Arsenal lost that game to Aston Villa, they blew their chances of winning the title, because with a team like Manchester City chasing you, one thing you don't want to do is give them hope. You do not want to give a team like Manchester City hope. So if you just open that, give them that little window of opportunity, they will take it. They've won like 25 games, 25 games like unbeaten domestically. They go on those runs. The only way you're gonna beat Manchester City to the title is when they slip up, you take full advantage of it. Whenever they slip up, you take full advantage of it. I even think you need to be at least 10 points ahead of them. With 5 games remaining, 10 points ahead of them, and that's probably it. You take the league. But if you're like 2 points, 3 points ahead of Man City with like a couple of games to go, they'll chase you down. And that is the wrong team you want chasing you down, because they are relentless. Manchester City are a machine. I'm gonna admit it. I have to admit it. You have to give them their flowers. And the thing is, a lot of people will not really appreciate Manchester City until like Pep Guardiola is gone, and then we look back. We look back over the years and was like, you know what a great team. We don't really appreciate them because they play in the Premier League. We see them week in, week out. We're used to them, but what a fantastic team. And it pains me to say, because I support Manchester United. Do you know what I mean? I support Manchester United, but you have to give people their flowers. You know what I mean? Because Manchester City are just relentless. They're a well-run club. Look, they still got those 115 charges hanging over them. We'll see what happens with that. The FA are going to take care of that. We'll see what happens in the courts. But on the football pitch, yeah, Manchester City, best team in the world, hands down. They just get the job done. And, this has to be, a lesson to Arsenal. Again, I mean, last season, they bottled it. Arsenal bottled it. Do you know what I mean? They bottled the title. They had a title in their hands. They bottled it. they bottled it. Now, this season, obviously, look, with Manchester City winning 2-0, they go 2 points above Arsenal, but Arsenal still have a 1 goal advantage. In terms of the goal difference, Arsenal are still 1 goal up on Manchester City. So, which means Manchester City have to beat West Ham at the Etihad on Sunday. If Manchester City draw and Arsenal win, if Arsenal beat Everton at home and Manchester City draw against West Ham, Arsenal will be crowned the champions. But what are the chances of that? At the Etihad, West Ham, I mean, what are West Ham playing for? They're not really playing for anything. You know, West Ham are not playing for anything. And probably the players are already on the beach. They've already booked their holidays. They just want to get that game out of the way. Moyes is leaving, so there's no motivation for the manager either. So I don't see West Ham putting up any sort of fight. Even if they do, they still won't be good enough. I don't think they've won at the Etihad for like 10 years or 11 years. They haven't beaten Man City, so I don't see them starting on Sunday. I just don't see it happening. But what a season has been. What a season has been. Look, it's gonna go down to the wire. Arsenal are still in it. You know, you can only hope. You can only hope. You know, on Sunday, some kind of miracle. You know, the Manchester City players get food poisoning or something. Do you know what I mean? At their hotel, you know, something happens to their pasta or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Something happens to their pasta and Kevin De Bruyne, Erling Haaland, you know, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, they all get diarrhea or something and they can't play the game. You know what? Even if those players are missing, they've got a crazy bench that could just come in and do exactly the same job and demolish West Ham anyway. You know, so I honestly think, you know, that's it. This was the big hurdle for Manchester City. This was a must-win game for them. And like the true champions that they are, they got the job done. This is what champions do. This is what real champions do. Manchester City are real champions. This ain't no gimmick team. This is a machine. Manchester City are a machine. Pep Guardiola, the best coach in the world. He's not going to allow them to slack. You know, they're going to break the record. They're going to win their 4th league title in a row. You know, no other team's ever done that in Premier League history. You know, even the great United sides of the 90s never done it. Ferguson tried it twice. He couldn't do it. You know, so Arsenal, you know, they've got themselves to blame. You had a decent lead, but you lost to Aston Villa. I think the Aston Villa game, I'm going to emphasize on that. The Aston Villa game, that was where Arsenal lost the game. I mean, sorry, that was where Arsenal lost the league. They lost the title. When they lost like 2-0 against Aston Villa at home, that's when they lost. That's when they lost it. If they won that game or even drew that game, different story. We're having a completely different conversation. Then they won't be relying on Tottenham to do them a favor. You know, when you're taking on Manchester City, you cannot depend on others to do you a favor. You have to make sure that it's all in your own hands. When it comes to taking on Manchester City, like Liverpool have found out over the years, and think about the teams that Liverpool have put. Think of Klopp. Klopp, relentless. Mo Salah, Mane, Firmino, Fabinho, all these guys, Henderson, at their pump. They only managed to win 1 Premier League title. Look how many times Liverpool ran Man City close. And they only managed to win 1 title. That should, you know, now Arsenal fans, that's what you guys are feeling right now. You're feeling what Liverpool fans have felt for the last few years. And the only way you're gonna change that, the only way to change that narrative, the only way to snatch, that title of, to take it away from Man City, is to be relentless, is to match their relentlessness. You can't be losing 2-0 against Aston Villa at home. Look, Aston Villa, fantastic season. They've qualified for the Champions League. Unai Emery, well done. Great manager. Great manager. Do you know what I mean? He was unfairly treated at Arsenal. He's come back and he's proven everyone wrong. Aston Villa in the Champions League for the first time like in 40 years. What a great achievement. But Arsenal should have beat them at the Emirates. That's where you lost the title. That's where Arsenal should have beat them. You should have won that game. But you lost 2-0. That's where the league was lost. And look, guys, you never know. Arsenal fans, you should always have hope. You should always have hope. But when it comes to Man City, good luck. Good luck. Because hope might not be enough. You might need some prayers and angels and God on your side on that day for things like I just don't see West Ham doing anything, having any say. West Ham will not do anything on Sunday. They'll lose like 4-5-0. That's what I think. They're not going to do nothing to stop Manchester City. Manchester City knew this game against Tottenham was the game. This was the game. Do you know what I mean? Look, I'll be honest, I always give an honest opinion. For me personally, I'll make this final point because I don't want to be here too long. But for me personally, I think for the league, for the Premier League, we always call the Bundesliga, the French league, all the other leagues around Europe. Yeah, we call it the Farmers League. We call them the Farmers League. Let's be honest. Yeah, we call it the Farmers League because they've got the same teams winning the league year in, year out. In the Bundesliga, I think it's the first time another team has won it. Leverkusen winning it. But before this, Bayern Munich won the league for 11 years in a row. In the French league, PSG keep winning it. Ajax dominate, maybe not this season, but recently they've been dominating the Eredivisie. So now we've got Manchester City winning 4 in a row in a so-called most competitive league in the world. Is the Premier League really that competitive? Is the Premier League really that competitive? If Manchester City are going to win their 4th league title in a row, I think they've won 7 or something like that in the last 9 years. They've won 7 league titles in the last 9 years. 7. Is the league really competitive? Do you know what I mean? Is the league really competitive? And when we talk about competitiveness, what do we mean by competitiveness? Like, do we mean like where Burnley can nick a draw at Old Trafford, where Bournemouth can win at Old Trafford, or Aston Villa can beat Arsenal at the Emirates, or Luton can get a little 1-0 against Chelsea? Or is that what we call in competitive? Because for me, competitiveness means like 1 or 2, 3 teams challenging for the title all the time and having different winners every couple of years. But Manchester City have just dominated. I don't feel we can no longer call the Premier League the most competitive league. If you look at it, the results are being shown around Europe as well, because there's no Premier League side left in Europe. Is Manchester City's dominance making the Premier League weak? That's my question. They're dominating so much, it's making the Premier League weak, man. How competitive is the Premier League if Manchester City win their 4th title in a row? And to be honest with you, I see them winning next season again. Think about it. Who stops them? Liverpool are getting a new manager in. He's gonna take the new manager time to bed in, find his system, get new players, get rid of some of the dead wood, bring in his own players, try and find their way through the Premier League. And he's a Dutch manager. Dutch managers have not done too good in the Premier League. And we're looking at Ten Hag at Old Trafford. He's not faring too well. Arsenal are going to go again. What? They're going to sign another 100 million player. Arsenal might add another striker, but is that enough? Let's say Arsenal go and get Alexander Isak from Newcastle because they're having some financial fair play situations going on, so they might have to sell some of their players. Arsenal get Alexander Isak. Is that enough? Is Isak enough for them to win the title for Man City next season? I don't think so, because Man City are still going to have Haaland. Kevin De Bruyne is still going to be there. Doku looks like he's starting to do bits now. Do you know what I mean? Phil Foden's only going to get better. Rodri's still going to be there. Their back four is still solid. you know. And knowing Pep Guardiola, how competitive he is, he's probably going to go out there and buy another player to improve his squad. So I can see Manchester City. I mean, we don't even want to talk about Manchester United. They're a mess. It might take them another 10 years for them to even get back into the top 4 at this rate, because they need to sell their whole squad. So you can forget Manchester United. So realistically, next season, it will be Arsenal challenging Manchester City again for the title. Forget Chelsea. They're rebuilding. They've got a bunch of young players, you know, with potential talent. Who knows what's going to happen with that situation? But again, once again, next season is going to be Arsenal challenging Manchester City for the title. And I don't think Arsenal have the squad depth to take on Manchester City. And how are Arsenal going to be feeling if they lose out once again? That's going to be 2 in a row where they play the bridesmaid. 2 seasons in a row, they finish second. You know, how does that affect their players? Can Arteta keep going against Pep? Because Pep can do it. Pep's proven. Pep's showing that he's relentless, he's ruthless. Pep will keep going. Pep ain't gonna be slacking and you know, like being happy with, yeah, we've won 4 in a row. Nah, Pep's gonna be thinking we're going for 5 in a row. We're gonna break all sorts of records. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. But yeah, for tonight, Manchester City, you know, 2-0. They won 2-0, control game. You know, that penalty at the end where Phil Foden, you know, does like a great boom and great pass by Phil Foden to Doku. Doku kind of does his little trickery. And again, poor defending from Tottenham. He just gives them the penalty, and Haaland obviously tucks it in nicely. No chance for the keeper to save it. But yeah, Manchester City march on to Sunday. If they beat West Ham, they win the league. And I think they'll do it, like I just explained. They'll do it easily. I don't see West Ham doing and giving them any problems whatsoever. This was the test, and Manchester City have passed it with full colours. Arsenal fans, I'm really sorry. I feel bad. I feel bad for you guys, man. I feel bad for you guys. I really feel bad for you guys, because I think Arsenal overall, I think they do deserve to win a title. I think they deserve to win a title. But unfortunately, you're just going up against Pep Guardiola and his machine. The quicker you learn that you should not give Pep Guardiola and his Manchester City any sniff at all, yeah, the better. I really hope Arteta has learned his lesson. Yeah, if Arsenal, like I said, you never know. There's 1 game to go. I don't see it happening. I see City winning their 4th league title on Sunday. I don't see a different result at all. But if Arsenal do finish second, they don't win the league. Yeah, lessons have to be learned, you know, from Arteta again. It's you know, football is all about margins. It's all about margin. When you're going against Manchester City, listen, when you got advantage over Manchester City, take it. Because when they take the advantage, they're not going to relinquish it. They're not giving you a chance to come back in. They're taking it and running with it. And that's exactly what Manchester City will do on Sunday. Listen, everyone, thank you very much for watching EMGM Sports post-match reaction, Tottenham versus Manchester City. It's your boy Enzo here. Thank you very much for watching. Listen, guys, don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and share the link. Yeah, EMGM Sport, we're here. We're taking over. Thank you very much for watching this post-match reaction. Have a blessed evening. Peace.